Harold von Taylor was born in 1850. He is Penelope and Vincent Kane von Taylor's first child. At a young age, Harold and his brother Bernard were left in the care of the nanny and butler. Their parents were mostly out partying, so they rarely saw them. Most of their early years were spent in the nursery. That's where they were schooled, and where they became best friends. As they grew older, they became more rebellious. Harold had become a mastermind at scheming and experimenting. He would propose his plans to Bernard, who was always willing to do whatever Harold asked of him. He loved chaos. They would do anything and everything to get their parents' attention, but nothing worked. They drove their nanny insane and harassed the maids. Since their parents wouldn't bat an eye, they would start trouble just for fun. When they turned 18, their father sat them down to tell them he was ill, and that he was only going to leave everything in his will to one of them. The boys were devastated to hear that, because they both wanted everything to themselves. But there was no negotiation. Vincent made it clear that was the way it would be, which meant the boys had to decide who was going to have it all and who wasn't. Vincent knew what he was setting his sons up for, and couldn't wait to watch it unfold. They had 3 years to decide, or it wouldn't go to either of them. Penelope didn't necessarily agree to it, but she didn't have much to say. Harold already knew that he would get the inheritance, and he kept that to himself. He remained close with Bernard. He knew his father was trying to tear them apart. So instead, he focused on other things. He and the maid were having an affair. Her name was Edith. She was his first everything. Harold would buy her the most expensive jewelry for her acquired taste. He was madly in love with her. They were married in 1869. Edith made herself a home in her new wealthy life. She wasn't going to let anything take it away from her. Within a year of marriage, she was pregnant. She gave birth to a boy named Edison. Now that Harold was a husband and father, he was sure that the inheritance would go to him. When he talked to his father about it, Vincent told him he and his brother had to agree to that. So Harold told Bernard the inheritance should be his to support his family. Bernard didn't agree to that and expressed that he would fight over the inheritance if he had to. Harold didn't want to take it that far, and he would spend the next 6 years trying to compromise. But Bernard would always pick a fight, and that only drifted them further apart. On top of that, his marriage was in shambles. Edith threatened to leave him if he didn't inherit his family's wealth. She married him for the money and refused to stay without it. Harold had no choice but to fight for it. Vincent only allowed for the conflict to go on so long because it was entertaining. In late 1879, shortly after their mother died, Harold sat down with his brother and father to challenge Bernard to a duel. When the day came, Harold had many regrets. But Bernard was ready to get the inheritance, all while Vincent sat back and enjoyed the show.